Hello, Gemini, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs for mid to end of July 2023, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? As always, I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy for the reading and clarified those messages. I have the tarot deck that we'll be jumping into already shuffled, as well as the decks that I'll be using in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do remember to take what helps your personal situation and leave what does not. All right, Gemini, on your side of this connection, you have higher ground with the Five of Swords. Gemini, you in your recent past specifically have been pretty deep in survival mode. When we don't believe that the life of our dreams is possible, then we will often allow ourselves to stay stuck in less than what we deserve or less than what we're capable of, because we think that that's as good as it's going to get for us, or that nothing else is possible for us. The universe is asking you to have a little bit of a different perspective on that, on survival mode as a whole. If there's anything that I've learned from this journey, it's that survival mode is a product of the beliefs that are placed on us from our parents' experiences growing up, from the people around us and their experiences growing up, from society's beliefs as a whole, and what we believe about our world and what is actually possible for us. And all of those beliefs are usually pretty limited. And they teach us that we have to struggle to survive, that relationships have to include sacrificing your worth or your value in order to receive the bare minimum, that we're supposed to work the 9 to 5 that we absolutely despise because it's the only way to financially support ourselves, right? Like in our society, it's typical to live for the weekends. Like that's not how reality should actually be, and it's not the way that it has to be. But until we start to believe that and believe what's possible for us, we do have a tendency to allow ourselves to stay stuck in that kind of environment. So a lot of people call it the matrix, right? Now, in your current energy, you have breakthrough with the Two of Pentacles. Now, this is kind of what I was talking about in your recent past, but I feel like it's kind of talking about how you're starting to slowly but surely break through the matrix a little bit. Because what I see, taking a step back, whenever we are living in survival mode, we have a tendency to not prioritize ourself, our happiness, our health, our both mentally and physically. And we have a tendency to prioritize our survival, right? Of course, because you're a human and you are trying to survive. That makes plenty of sense, right? But when you start to realize that survival isn't the goal, and that actually being able to thrive and enjoy your life and find passion in every single day, that's actually the goal, right? The goal is building to fulfillment. And so what I'm seeing here is the more that you break out of old limiting beliefs that have kept you stuck in survival mode, the more you're going to start to be able to prioritize you, Gemini, your happiness, your mental well-being, your passions, whatever the case might be. Now, in your immediate future, you have renewal of peace with the Ten of Cups. I really like this message because the more that it's interesting. It's backwards, because the more that you prioritize your, this is like long-term emotional fulfillment. So you prioritize your long-term emotional fulfillment, the more that you're going to find the peace that you're searching for through the survival that you've been stuck in. It's backwards, right? And sometimes taking leaps of faith out of our comfort zone and pursuing passions as a career, or walking away from relationships that don't serve us to open the door to ones that do, all of those decisions can seem really freaking scary. And that's because our survival mode instincts are going to kick in and say, if you're not settling, then you're not going to be okay. And that, has been a belief, a collective belief for so long, that until you start to learn to break out of that, you're going to stay stuck in those same kinds of experiences. But I do see, you starting to kind of prioritize yourself and your happiness a little bit more here, Gemini. Let's start by looking at your recent past. You have higher ground with the Five of Swords. This is recent past for Gemini, please. Clarifying higher ground with the Five of Swords. This is for Gemini's recent past. One more. This is for Gemini's recent past, please. The Tower. The Tower with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Things came crashing down in your reset past, Gemini, and I feel like it made you feel very unsafe. I feel like there could have been a loss of something that was a source of security for you. Or this is talking about, that's what I feel like. But whatever this was that you were investing in, you weren't investing in it because it made you happy. You were investing in it because it made you feel safe. And it made you feel a false sense of security because I feel like it actually didn't really make you feel safe. So I definitely feel like the way that things happened in your recent past happened for a reason. More for Gemini's recent past, please. And this doesn't even necessarily need to be, like, when I talk about recent past, this can be the last couple of years, right? It's not just like last month or last week. Recent past for Gemini, please. Clarifying higher ground with the Five of Swords. Yeah, either you walked away from something or something walked away from you in your recent past. And it left you feeling wildly overwhelmed. I feel like it made you feel very unsure about what to do next. It made you feel like maybe you even lost a little bit of your identity if you identified with whatever this was. It brought up a lot of, she's the Nine of Swords in the world here, a lot of fear, doubt, and mainly insecurity for you. But I feel like the fear, doubt, and insecurity that it brought up was actually the fear, doubt, and insecurity that had you investing in it in the first place. Because again, whatever it was, it didn't make you happy. It maybe the potential of it made you happy. Maybe what it could have been made you happy. Maybe the hope that it provided your life made you happy, but it didn't. You weren't happy with it for what it was in the moment, which we all have a tendency to do, to chase things for the potential, right? All right, recent past for Gemini, please. Recent past for Gemini, please. The Five of Swords with the Nine of Pentacles. So we have that Five of Swords again. And then the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. This is an opportunity that hasn't been able to make its way into reality yet. What that opportunity is some form of wish fulfillment for you. The survival mode that you were stuck in this situation is what has actually been keeping you from whatever it is that you want. Which makes plenty of sense. If we're surviving, we're not thriving, right? And like I said, we're going to then prioritize, like, we're going to stay in that job that we hate because we don't, have any idea how we're going to be okay otherwise. We're going to stay in that relationship that it doesn't treat us all that well, or that doesn't see our worth, or that doesn't make us happy because we think we're going to be alone forever if we don't, or we think that that's as good as it's ever going to get for us, or whatever the case might be. And so that leaves you to prioritize your fear and your survival over your happipiness and well-being. And again, we've all done it. We've all been there. Everyone, every single person on this earth is guilty of doing that at one point or another. So there's no reason to feel ashamed of that. There's no reason to be, to beat yourself up for that, but there is a need to bring it to your awareness. That a lot of the times we're investing in our survival instead of our fulfillment. All right, current energy for Gemini, clarifying breakthrough with the Two of Pentacles, please. Current energy for Gemini, clarifying breakthrough with the Two of Pentacles, please. Current energy for Gemini, please. Clarifying breakthrough with the Two of Pentacles. High Priestess. Oof. Okay. That's a good oof. And that's funny because that's a breakthrough right there, the Ace of Swords. Nine of Wands in reverse, the Hierophant in reverse. Whether or not you know it, you're being pretty heavily guided right now. I feel like your intuition, your higher self is really trying to help you navigate out of this like matrix, if you will. I don't know why I keep laughing when I say that. I think it's just kind of funny to me when people call it that. But I do feel like, I mean, this is another, the Hierophant reverse is another card of like perspective shift, and then you have this higher ground, right? In order for you to break through and to start to create the life of your dreams, you have to recognize how you have been settling for a life that isn't really what you dreamed of. Now, for me, I mean, and this is just something like I'm trying to relate to this energy to my personal experience to help you guys understand it. When I went to school for finance. I graduated from school and I became a financial advisor. And if you would have asked me at that time, being a financial advisor was my dream. It was my goal. And the reason why was because I knew I'd make a lot of money doing it. And I thought that a level of success and that financial abundance would make me happy. It wasn't until I was about 2.5 years in and I was making okay money, not like fantastic money, but good enough money. But I was working my life away. Like I was working literally all of the time. I was making good money and I couldn't even spend it because I was spending all my time working. Well, I remember I can distinctly remember driving to work one day and having this like mental breakdown out of nowhere. And the whole reason why was I was sitting there and I was going, is this it? Is this all that there is in this world? And the more that I realized that this dream that I was chasing, it wasn't necessarily that I was actually living a life that I was happy about. It was that every single time I reached some level of success, I was always chasing the next level of success, and then the next level and the next level and the next level. And that was this consistent loop that I was on. I was never satisfied. I was never happy. And that's because I wasn't living a life of fulfillment. I was living a life of hoping that the next thing would bring me fulfillment. And when you get stuck on that, that's when you're spinning your wheel in that matrix kind of energy. So what I'm getting at is when you can start to understand that maybe at one point or another, what you were investing in your past was what you wanted. You know, maybe there was a time in your life where you really, really thought that you wanted that. But maybe you've lived it and maybe you experienced that you don't want that. You don't want that cycle. You don't want to get treated like that. You don't want to have to settle for that level of abundance. Being able to understand that we invest in things because we often think that it's what's right or what's best for us can keep us from being able to actually invest in what is best for us. Now, I'm going to elaborate on that a little bit because I feel like that can be taken the wrong way. But what I mean by that is that we can think that chasing money or status or success or the perfect relationship is going to be what makes us happy, when in reality, what makes us happy is waking up every single day, loving your life, being excited to invest in the things that you are going to invest in, loving the mundane day to day. It's not about the extreme highs that life has for you. It's about the fulfillment as a whole. And being able to create and find that fulfillment is where your soul essentially is trying to take you, where your intuition is trying to guide you. So if you felt guided to this reading out of nowhere and you're working a job that you absolutely hate, maybe this is a sign for you. Or if you know that you're in a relationship that you don't really like being in, but you feel trapped or you feel like you have to invest in it for some reason because maybe you feel like you can't be financially stable without it. Maybe you feel like you'll be alone forever if you don't have it. Whatever the case is, understand that is your survival mode instincts kicking in. That is not the truth. Current energy for Gemini, please. And you don't have to make a decision right now. You just have to become aware of it. Become aware that you want change. Oof. Six of Cups in reverse. The Hermit in reverse. And Six of Pentacles in reverse. You always do what you've always done. You'll always get what you've always gotten. The definition of insanity, right? I am not saying that you are insane, but the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Sometimes we can enter into situations that seem different at the time, but are actually very much the same. So we see that when we get into relationships with someone new, but then the relationship ends the same way, or you start to experience the same kind of treatment, or the the fulfillment that you had in the beginning starts to wear off. It can happen with careers, right? You think that a promotion is going to make you happy. You think that maybe changing companies, but being in the same job is going to make you happy, and maybe it does for a little bit, but then eventually all those same problems start to come back. That is because it is not about the circumstance. It is about what's being invested in as a whole. There's a little bit here, Gemini, of getting stuck in the belief that the next thing is going to make you happy. The next thing is going to bring you fulfillment. When I get that promotion, man, then I'm going to be happy. When I reach that level of abundance, man, then I'm going to be happy. Happiness starts with where you're at today. It starts with, again, investing in things in your day-to-day life that bring you fulfillment and joy. And there's a reason you haven't received what it is that you're wanting. And it's because I don't feel, Gemini, like you're investing in you or your happiness. I feel like you're investing in your survival. And the only way you're going to break out of survival, which I definitely think you are, if you are doing the healing, doing the inner work, then you're doing what you need to do. Then you're going to get there. But if you don't work on kind of that breaking out of survival mode, you can definitely expect it to experience a lot of the same circumstances over and over again. Truth of this connection. That's funny because it's the middle one. Current energy for Gemini. My habits really just jumped in hard there. Current energy for Gemini, please. Current energy for Gemini, please. Queen of Cups in reverse. Three of Cups in reverse. And the Moon. Sometimes things have to fall apart to fall back together. And I feel like that's kind of what you're going through and experiencing in your life, Gemini. Now, here's the thing. Things can fall apart and fall back together in the exact same way they were before, which is going to lead to them falling apart the exact same way that they did before. Or you're going to choose differently this time. You're going to prioritize differently this time. Instead of prioritizing survival mode and how you think things should be, you're going to start to prioritize you and how you want things to be, how you want to experience this world. Because your beliefs, Gemini, are the root of your results. What you think is possible for you is what's going to be possible for you. And so if you limit yourself to what you've experienced as only what is possible, then you're going to stay in experiencing the same things you always have, right? If you want to experience differently, you got to move differently. But there will also be a million different reasons why you think that you should stay in your comfort zone and experience in survival mode, which survival mode, Gemini, has become your comfort zone because you know how to survive. You've done it your whole life. You've made it to this point in your life on survival mode. So you know that it works, right? But it doesn't mean that it makes you happy, and it doesn't mean that that's the way that things have to be. You are truly allowed to enjoy and be fulfilled in every single area of your life, but you do also have to do the work to get there, right? So if you're doing the work, you're on the right path. If you're not, I recommend starting. But yeah, all right, immediate future for Gemini, clarifying renewal of peace with the 10 of Cups. I like this immediate future energy. Immediate future for Gemini, clarifying renewal of peace with the 10 of Cups. One more. Immediate future for Gemini, please. Ooh. Seven of Pentacles with the Four of Wands. This isn't for everyone, I don't think. Maybe it is. I don't know. I do see you starting to invest. Like this Four of Wands to me is like mindset. It's a stable mindset. Something that I talk about often that I want to bring forth in this reading is how freaking powerful you are and how unaware you are of that. I'm not saying like you in particular on the other side of the screen. I'm saying us as human beings. We have a tendency to downplay how powerful we really are. And furthermore, how powerful our mind is. There, we grow up with these cliche sayings, you can do anything you set your mind to, where there's a will, there's a way, you've got the power, all of that. And it's like, yeah, right? Sure. Where there's a will, there's a way. But then there's all of these reasons why there's not a way, right? I can set my mind to anything as long as it's reasonable, right? No, there's no as long as. You are capable of whatever it is that you want in this life. Now, something that I always put a little caveat there is as long as you are willing to do the work to make it happen. You have to be so driven and open to creating it that you're willing to do what it takes to get there. Now, that doesn't mean that it has to be a struggle, right? We're trying to break out of struggle. It means that you have to be willing to take the risk, to lean on faith, to open yourself up to spiritual guidance, to look within, to do the healing, to do the inner work, right? As long as you're willing to do that, you will be able to get to where you're trying to go. And your mindset is going to be the most important tool that you have. And so, one of my favorite quotes in spirituality is as above, so below, as within, so without. Our inner world, what we think about, what we believe, what we act on, that is going to be what creates our reality, right? Now, 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions stem from our subconscious. Only 5% of the way we interact with our reality is conscious. So 95% of you is in control of your reality, and you are not consciously involved in that process. So in order to change your reality, you got to change your subconscious. And that means starting with the way that you think and what you believe. When you can start noticing how you limit yourself through your thoughts and your beliefs, you can start trying to recognize what you need to replace those thoughts with and those beliefs with to align more with the life that you want to experience instead of the life that you have experienced. Because your subconscious is going to be a product of your habits, and your habits are going to be a product of what you've repeated over and over again, be that thoughts or actions or beliefs, whatever it is, it's whatever you've experienced, right? That's what your subconscious is built on. So in order to change your subconscious, you got to change your habits, you got to change your thoughts, you got to change your beliefs. And that is what creates a better, different reality for you. So your mindset, I feel like, is really what's coming through in this reading, and understanding that you are so powerful. You are so powerful, and this is about you breaking out of the freaking matrix, so that you can live an abundant, fulfilled life, and not one that is rooted in survival. Immediate future for Gemini, please. Immediate future for Gemini, please. It's a slow process. I laugh because I was going to say it, and then of course it comes out. Sometimes when we're moving forward on our path, even if we know we're making the right decisions and we're, choosing to act on our spiritual guidance and we're leaning on faith and all of that, it can feel like nothing's happening. It can feel like we are stuck in the same old same and that nothing is taking place, even though the majority of the manifestation process, the majority of the creation process, the majority of your spiritual journey, it happens within. Now, eventually, when you start to believe what you want to believe, which takes time because you are retraining a lifetime of beliefs, but whenever you are able to do that, you will start to watch those get reflected back at you in your relationships and your financial situation, in the way that you interact with strangers. Seriously, when you start to know who you are, what you're deserving of, what you're capable of, and what's possible for you, this world starts to shift to match those beliefs. So if you're on the start of a spiritual journey, or you're trying to create the life of your dreams, or whatever the case is, start trying to get more and more aware of your thoughts and your beliefs and how they have kept you in survival mode instead of allowed you to break out and create a life of abundance. Immediate future for Gemini. This is for Gemini's immediate future, please. Ooh. Four of Cups with the Knight of Cups in reverse. Something that I like to mention on these readings is I don't like to look at your immediate future and tell you exactly how things are going to happen. Because first and foremost, I don't think that's my job, nor do I think that that's helpful for anyone, because then that, again, limits you into what you think you don't have control over, and that takes away your power. It makes you think that you are not capable of creating more for yourself. So what I'm getting at, and what I'm trying to bring forth in this reading, is that you don't need to question whether or not the life of your dreams is possible. You don't need to question whether or not you're capable. You're going to. It's natural. You don't need to question whether or not you're deserving. What you need to do is you need to start figuring out why you don't think that those things are true, so that you can make those things true for you. And then understand that when you follow a path and you start trying to create a path of abundance, your fear, your doubt, your insecurity, your ego is going to do every single thing in its power to pull you back to safety. Because again, your survival mode is your comfort zone, and your ego loves your comfort zone because it has power there, it has control there, it has predictability there. When you're in your comfort zone, when you're in survival mode, again, like I said, you know exactly how to survive. You've done it this long, right? You know exactly how to make yourself stay alive. So whenever you start to break out of how you have always survived into understanding that you don't have to survive, you're allowed to thrive, your ego is going to go, whoa, hold up. This isn't okay. Because now we're not doing things we always have before. Therefore, I don't know if things are going to be okay. And so your fears are going to come out. Your doubts are going to come up. Your insecurities are going to come up. Your limiting beliefs are going to be loud. And it's those things are going to try to trigger you into pulling yourself back to safety. So it's important that you understand when you are trying to create the life of your dreams, you have to be so certain. And that's why your mindset is so important, right? You have to be so certain, again, in who you are, where you're going, and what you're capable of, that you do not let anything that tries to reflect back at you those doubts, fears, and insecurities win. So just being aware when you're triggered and when you're going through and experiencing fear, that it really is you trying to hold yourself back. That's what's going to be the most important. And then if you can do all of these things, look at that, your 10 of Cups, renewal of peace in your 10 of Cups. That's what's able to be reached. All right, Gemini. In this reading, we talked about what you need to know in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self. In the extended, we're going to talk about what you need to do in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self. I'm going to clarify these messages, jump into some advice using my experience as a spiritual coach as well. And then I have an advice card to pull from Spirit at the end. Thank you so much, Gemini, as always, for your support of my channel, especially those of you who have been with me for so long now. I feel like, I don't know. It feels like it's been forever, but it's only really been, I think I started my channel in November, and I've grown so much since then, because this is a brand new channel that I started in November. I had one in the past, but I restarted it. And you know, those of you who have been with me, supported me, even if you're new, right? Even if you just recently found me and you comment these incredibly nice things to me, just know that that's what keeps me going. And I'm just as appreciative for you guys as you are for me. So I don't know, just a little spiel I wanted to give. But thank you guys as always, and I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Gemini.